Hello students, I am Professor Isha Mandiratta from LG Institutes of Engineering and Technology. In today's video, we will be discussing some elastic behaviors of solids and factors which affect elasticity. If you have any queries regarding today's video, you can contact me on this email ID, that is isha.mandiratta@lginstitutes.edu.in. So shall we start? First, we will be discussing what are the different behaviors, elastic behaviors of solids. So I'll be starting with the first one, that is known as elastic after effect. Before I explain what is elastic after effect, let us just see this diagram. So we have this material in between. So this is the material in between, and we are applying a force, a deforming force. So you can see in the diagram that this force is a tensile force. The stress applied here is a tensile stress, that is, you are stretching it. So you are just pulling it. What happens to this material after you unload or after you remove the stress? There is one possibility that instantaneously it recovers. So what happens when you are stretching, the molecules get elongated, the molecules get stretched. When you remove the stress, the molecules come back to the original length instantaneously. This is a scenario which we assume will happen, but actually this is the scenario which will happen, that all the molecules will come back after some time. They take a time to recover their original length, and this delay in time, or this time which is taken to recover the original length, is what is known as elastic after effect. So there is a temporary delay. This delay is not permanent. It is a temporary delay in certain substances to regain their original shape when the stress is removed. Obviously, the stress applied should be in the elastic limit, because if the stress is not in the elastic limit, the object will never regain its original shape. So the force or the stress applied should be under the elastic limit. So during this, keeping this condition in mind, the temporary delay is what is known as elastic after effect. This effect is very short for quartz fiber. If you remember, I had mentioned in an earlier video that quartz fiber is said to be the highly elastic material. First of all, its resistance to change is very, very high, and if it is deformed, it immediately recovers its original length. So you can say that the delay in case of quartz fiber is very, very less, but it is more for glass because it deforms easily. Next, we will be discussing elastic hysteresis. You know what do you mean by the term hysteresis? Hysteresis is generally a term which is used where you are comparing two different parameters. That is, if one parameter is increased, there is an increase in the other. If you decrease and there you find some delay in decrease of second parameter, we relate it to hysteresis. It is a common term which is related to magnetic materials, but in case of elasticity also we have hysteresis. To explain hysteresis, I have considered extension. Extension means you can say the stretch or you can say the strain, that is the result. So result is plotted on the x-axis, and the load, that is the stress applied, is plotted on the y-axis. So what exactly? So if you can see this curve is actually known as the elastic hysteresis curve, which means that the way you are loading a material, so there is some strain in it. So if you apply stress, corresponding to it there is some strain. So practically what a person feels, that if the stress is applied like this, you remove it, the strain should also follow this path. But what actually happens, the strain actually recovers another path after unloading. So if you are loading, strain is increasing. If you are unloading, strain is decreasing, but in some other manner. This lag or this delay, so stress and strain actually lag according to this curve. Why do we say they lag? Because if they were not lagging, we would have just got a straight line whereas increase in stress and strain is related, and the same line when you decrease the stress. But here instead of one line we get a curve. So this curve indicates that this extension lags behind the load. Due to elastic after effect only, that because there is a delay in regaining the original position, actual hysteresis occurs. So due to elastic after effect, there is a possibility that the strain lags behind the stress applied, because there are some materials in which after unloading they take some time to delay the original shape. So this delay leads to hysteresis. This delay leads to a lag of extension as compared to load. Due to this, for a rapidly changing stress, the strain is small. This lag between the stress and strain, so this lag between the stress and strain is known as elastic hysteresis. In the hysteresis cycle, the energy is dissipated in the form of heat during the entire cycle of loading and unloading. So this corresponds to, now if in the graph you see, so P1 is the load applied. So while loading it, while the stress was increasing, the strain corresponding to this P1 is EI. But while unloading, we keep the load as it is, P1. So while unloading, the strain corresponding to this P1 is ED. So this was the initial and this is the delayed value. So this delayed value might be because of elastic after effect. So such an effect wherein stress and strain lag or strain lags behind the stress is known as elastic hysteresis. Next is elastic fatigue. What do you mean by the word fatigue? If you work very hard for some time, for say an hour or so, you get tired, right? So this tiredness, the feeling of being tired is what is fatigue. So even if elastic materials, if you consider elastic materials which are constantly under stress, which are constantly exposed to deforming forces, there is a possibility that these materials also get fatigued. They also get tired. How? Let me give you an example. If you consider any instrument, a musical instrument like a guitar. Guitar is an instrument or violin is an instrument which requires strings. So using those strings, music is produced. So constantly for 1 year, if you use the same guitar, you will be actually feeling that the strings are getting loosened. There is, because constantly if you use it continuously, if the same strings without tightening them, if they are used, they won't produce the same sound as the fresh one produces. So because what happens, the strings are constantly exposed to a stress, so they get tired. So they need some rest. So this, let us see what fatigue means. When an elastic body undergoes alternating deforming forces repeatedly, if the deforming forces are repeatedly experienced by an elastic body, the elastic property of the body gradually decreases, right? So same way, if you have a guitar which is 1 year old and if you have a fresh guitar, the fresh guitar would give you more good music, the better music compared to the older one. The reason is all the strings are fresh in the new one. The torsional vibrations die off much faster in case of a wire kept vibrating continuously for a long time than a fresh wire selected for vibrations. Same as I said with the example of guitar, you can see that you have two wires. One you are keep making it vibrate for continuously 4-5 hours, and then you take a new wire. Then you vibrate both of them simultaneously. You actually observe that the wire which was being vibrated earlier, it vibrates or the vibrations die off more faster in case of the older wire as compared to the new one. Why? Because it was under continuous stress since last 5 hours, so it has fatigued. So that is the reason the fresh one will give you more better result. The property of body by virtue of which it loses its elastic property under the action of repeated alternating deforming forces is called fatigue. So one condition is it should be continuously under the effect of deforming forces. So being under the effect of continuous deforming forces, elastic properties temporarily are lost. So such a property, such an effect is known as elastic fatigue. Now let us move on to the next topic, that is the factors which affect elasticity. You know, elasticity basically is a phenomenon, is a process in which the internal structure, the atomic arrangement of an atom plays an important role. How does a material grow? Any material, if you consider, is formed of atoms. The cluster of atoms is what we call in mechanical terms as a crystal. This crystal grows, or this crystal expands in size under particular conditions. And this crystal growth actually is related to elasticity, or it affects elasticity in some way or the other. This is what we are going to discuss in factors. Structure of a material, as I said, the crystal or the atomic arrangement, it greatly affects the elastic properties. So structure of any material will affect the elastic properties. There are some common factors which affect elasticity, like effect of temperature, effect of impurities. Now, effect of impurities, there are some impurities which are intentionally added to achieve more elasticity, and there can be some impurities which are naturally present. Then effect of annealing. What is annealing? Annealing is a cooling method which is known as a systematic cooling method. You heat a metal and then slowly at room temperature it loses heat. So this cooling, a slow cooling process is annealing. And the effect of nature of crystal. The type of material also affects elasticity. Let us discuss these factors in detail. The first one is effect of impurities. What is an impurity? Any third particle which is naturally present or which is intentionally being added is what is known as an impurity. So addition of impurities produces variation in the elastic property of materials. How? Because that will affect your crystal growth. That will affect the binding of atoms of the parent material. So this increase or decrease of elasticity, it depends on the type of impurity which is added. Whether that impurity is going to bind the atoms together or whether it is going to loosen up the atoms together, depending upon these two factors, the effect of impurities depends. So when potassium is added to gold, the elastic property of gold increases. But when carbon is added to molten iron, the elastic property decreases. So I've given you both the examples. Potassium is actually added to gold so that its elastic property is stronger. But definitely the proportion would be less because only then the purity of gold is not lost. And if carbon is present in molten iron, it will decrease the elastic properties, which will make the metal brittle. So that is the reason carbon should not be present in pure steel, or while making steel from iron, the ratio of carbon should be very, very less. Next, effect of temperature. What is the effect of temperature on elasticity? The elastic property of a material changes with respect to temperature. Normally, elasticity decreases with the increase in temperature. It decreases with the increase in temperature because when the material is being heated or when the temperature is increasing, what happens? If the material's temperature increases, the binding of the atoms decreases. The atoms are not that closer together. They are not attracted to each other closer. They become loosened up, and that decreases the elasticity. You know, this is the only reason when metals have to be shaped. When you are shaping metals, like when you are making weapons using metals, they are heated. Because when they are heated, they become less elastic. And that is the reason you can give a desired shape to a metal. The elastic property of lead, an example, it increases when the temperature is decreased. And the carbon filament becomes more plastic at higher temperatures. So both the examples, generally temperature increase decreases the elasticity. Next is effect of rolling or hammering. If you are hammering or rolling a material, with the help of hammering, what happens? You bring all the atoms together. You increase the binding if you hammer. So if you are hammering or if you are rolling a material, it will become more elastic. So hammering and rolling break the crystal grains into smaller units, increasing their binding, which in turn increases elasticity. So if you talk about hammering and rolling, you say that elasticity increases. On the other hand, what happens to cooling? Annealing is a cooling process. This will lead to cooling means all the atoms are growing in size. They become higher crystal structures are formed. So slowly to form higher crystals, atoms get far away. The attraction decreases, the binding decreases if the crystal growth is more. So if annealing is a process which leads to larger structures, and so the binding decreases, which makes the material more plastic. So if you want to increase elasticity, the effect is hammering, and annealing is the process which leads to increase in plasticity, not elasticity. Next is a small topic which explains what is working stress, that is also known as factor of safety. So it is the maximum stress applied on a given material within the elastic limit is known as working stress. The maximum stress we apply on a material within the elastic limit, this is important, within the elastic limit is known as the working stress, because outside the elastic limit it is plastic zone and the material is deformed. So maximum stress here is known as the working stress. So ratio of ultimate stress, that is structural ability, to this working stress is known as factor of safety. So in short, the stress which can break a material upon the maximum stress a material can tolerate. So ratio of breaking stress upon working stress is known as factor of safety. There are some factors which are important to decide this factor of safety. First one is static and dynamic loading conditions. I'll give you an example of static and dynamic loading both. Static condition means a stationary condition wherein the material is experiencing a stationary load, and dynamic means, say for example, your vehicle is moving. So there is a force on the tires or on the road by that movement of vehicle. So that is the meaning of dynamic. So static means under stationary condition and dynamic means under moving conditions. Another factor is maximum expected load to be given. What is the load? What is that maximum load we expect that the object should tolerate? It also depends on the type of material which is under deforming force. Degree of expected wear and tear of the material. What is that extent you expect from the material? What is that extent of wear and tear you expect from the material? It also depends on the method of manufacturing of materials, like sudden application of material, sudden changes in dimension. It also depends on the possible outcomes of breakdown. What have been the outcome of breakdown? What has happened after the breakdown? What has actually whether there is a permanent deformation, how the fracture has taken place. So what has resulted after breakdown? The factor of safety also depends on this factor. And lastly, the standard of workmanship available and how prepared your designer is to take risks. So these are the factors which define working stress, that is ratio of which defines factor of safety, that is breaking stress upon working stress. So this was all about today's video. Hope you have understood. For any queries, you can get back to me at my email ID isha.mendiratha@lginstitutes.edu.in. Thank you.